Making meaningful connection with others to me means, well, love. That big universal notion of love. And I tried to test this out. So, can I make meaningful connection with people I've never met before? Can I love a person I've never met before? Can I make meaningful connections with people I disagree with? Can I love people that I disagree with? Can I make meaningful connection with myself? I think so, if I can love myself.
For me, a meaningful connection is when I'm able to show up as 100% authentically myself and feel that the other party appreciates that and they can also show up as their authentic selves. And we both walk away from that interaction feeling better about life and maybe having learned something that we needed.
To me, a meaningful connection with others is usually about one of three things. Either humour, and that can be a real belly laugh with someone, or just sharing a raised eyebrow with someone you've just met to show you're on the same wavelength. Secondly, it's about vulnerability, so people opening up to me, sharing something with me, automatically creates a connection with me. And finally, it's about curiosity. If they show an interest in me or ask questions, I feel a connection.
To me, meaningful connection with others is primarily about knowing your authentic self and then bringing that authentic self into a relationship with an authentic other. And when you do that and you do it successfully, you feel it across all of your senses and you really start to feel more alive.
To me, meaningful connection with others is when I feel curious and generosity, and I want to give both in return.
I'm at my best in connecting when I give the person I'm talking to my total and undivided attention, which means listening to, understanding, and being totally unbiased to their comments. This is sometimes very difficult to do as I'm normally preparing my responses to them when they're talking. When I'm able to do this, however, I actually feel a physical sensation, a connection that I feel moving through my body. It's a positive, uplifting, and emotional response that I feel in connecting this way to the person that I'm talking to. Thank you.
To me, meaningful connection with others is about feeling seen, heard, and understood.
Meaningful connections for me is the expression on the face of my 14-year-old grandchild when I use the name and pronouns that he's chosen for himself rather than those he was given at birth. He knows that they are truly loved and supported for who they are.
To me, a sense of meaningful connection with others is when I have a sense of sharing something with others, and also a sense of contributing, that I'm contributing something to them and they are contributing something to me.
To me, meaningful connection with others is revealed in a lightness of being, accepting a certain lack of ultimate meaning in life and the presence of kindness and beauty.
To me, a meaningful connection is a connection where we are on the same heartbeat with others. It only happens when you show up with your authenticity and vulnerability. It is in essence a connection where you feel secure and welcome in total resonance with the others.
To me, meaningful connections with others is all about communicating and experiencing values, emotions, and beliefs. The things in our lives that move us, that we cherish. For example, nature and beauty are in my top 10 values. So when I'm able to share them with others, I feel those experiences and conversations are meaningful connections. It's part of who I am.
To me, meaningful connection is hearing what's not being said. Yeah, like that.
When I'm feeling connected to another person, I feel actually very free and just free in who I am and in what I'm being. I think that's what we call being present. And the other thing I notice when I'm really connected to either another person or my environment is the sense of timelessness, that there isn't a beginning or an end, and I don't have to worry about the limitations of the moment. So that's kind of what it means to me. Thanks.
Meaningful connection to me is having the type of relationship where you can bring your full self. You can fully express what's in your heart, the good and the not so good. You can talk about your hopes, your fears, what you're scared of, what you're worried about. They see you and you see them. And there's unconditional love, there's deep listening, there's respect, there's laughter, there's tears. You've got each other's backs. And I think it feels like home.
So connection to me is that feeling of being present and aware with the other person. There's a sense of compassion and listening to the other person's story. There is a curiosity and an openness. It can be two-directional, could be one-directional. When it happens, it's a beautiful thing. It's a sustaining kind of feeling, and it's pretty rare.
To me, meaningful connections with others is not rational. Can't think about it too much, can't define it because then I will confine it, but I have the luxury of this happening every day, and sometimes more than once. So there's something about a heart and a look with someone, can be non-verbal, often is, can be verbal. As the French say, une belle rencontre. It means a beautiful meet.
And meaningful connection with another person for me is being able to have an open, honest dialogue, for there to be an open hearted conversation. So how this shows up with my friends, my family, my clients is when there's warmth, there's an open door, there's an open heart, there is the ability to actually connect and walls are down. So meaningful connection is, and a good example I like to think of is when my clients will reach out to me, not just to share an issue or a breakdown going on in their lives, but then when they reach out to share wins. We really truly have that in sync, open-hearted, open door kind of relationship. That's what meaningful connection means to me.
To me, meaningful connections with others is about being in the moment, present in the moment with the people you're sharing this moment with. And it's about sharing with vulnerability and listening with intent.
Building a meaningful connection to me means feeling comfortable enough to be vulnerable with someone. Being able to share something about your life, whether it be some struggles you've dealt with in the past or you're currently dealing with, or your hopes and dreams for the future. And then also being able to create a safe enough space for someone to feel comfortable being vulnerable back with you. We all walk a different path, and we all have our own experiences and our own things that we struggle with. And be able to sit and listen to someone else's and understand how they're feeling and what they've been through, even though it might not be something you ever experience yourself. I think that's what really brings us all closer together.
Establishing meaningful connections with others means getting below just the surface. It means having the comfort level to go a little bit deeper with people. And as part of that, there's a lot to be said for stepping into your own personal vulnerabilities, because it's only when you're vulnerable with others that you really let your true self out. And when you let your true self out, you let others' true self in. So that's how I establish meaningful connections.
To me, meaningful connection with others is when you find that shared thing, and build on it. Whether it's common ground around an experience or people that you know, food that you like, interests that you have, ideas and ambitions. It's when we connect on that level and we find that bond, and we use it to springboard into something broader and deeper.
To me, making meaningful connections with others means having a bond with another person with whom you can confide in and they you. A relationship where you can be yourself and share what's truly going on in your head and in your heart without fear of judgment. Being with this person is effortless. The conversation is easy and free-flowing. Time flies when you are together, and afterwards you are filled with joy and gratitude for the special relationship you have.
To me, making meaningful connections means getting to the heart of what matters to us both.
To me, making meaningful connections is all about listening. The things I learn, the things I hear, the way my curiosity opens up when I can really lean in and listen to others is the foundation of my coaching practice and my relationships. It's all about making meaningful connections through listening.
To me, a meaningful connection with others is about building relationships that are based on having a purpose, based on trust, empathy. They use great listening skills so that you can really understand and appreciate the other person, and in turn, they can understand and appreciate you. In doing so, you really build a connection between the two of you in which you trust each other, listen to each other, and understand each other.
Meaningful connections with others means, just simply put, everything. I wouldn't exist if I didn't have connections with other people, even with animals, feeling connected to the earth, to everything that's around us. So I really believe that connections are a vital part of our own existence in this world. And I'm so glad to be connected with all of you.
What do meaningful connections mean to me? It means finding common ground with others through mutual passions and interests. It means feeling heard, but also listening to other people's points of view. It means working together toward common goals. And it means I know people have my back, and I have theirs. And finally, to me, meaningful connections means I know I'm not alone.
To me, meaningful connections with others is oftentimes the answer in seemingly impossible challenges, because the energy is more than the sum of its parts. Meaning, in the moment, in that connection, we can tap from our co-intelligence. More is possible. It's a natural law. You can see it as 1 + 1 makes 11.
Meaningful connections with others is everything to me. It's about genuinely caring and having curiosity about them. That starts with asking good questions and connecting in the ways in which you find common ground and commonalities, and having incredible dialogue in areas where you're different and where you can learn and grow together. Connectivity is also about the long term. It's about staying connected over a period of time, not just for a moment in time.
To me, building meaningful connections with others involves wanting to really learn about what energizes, what interests, what matters to the other person, whether it be family, career, travel, pets, so that when there are opportunities for interaction occur, there are areas for touch points to check in on and ask for updates. It takes a long time to build meaningful connections, kind of like the desert swallow behind me here in the Southwest. That takes a long time to grow its first arms, but as it does, it strengthens, it stabilizes, and it becomes home refuge to desert creatures.
To me, meaningful connections means getting to know someone beyond the surface level and understanding their passions, desires, and vulnerabilities.
Connection to me means when two people are so in sync, they're listening without anticipation and absorbing each other's point of view, feelings, thinking. But it can also happen without words. It's a gift. It can happen with eye contact or with touch. It's magic in today's fast-paced society.
To me, meaningful connection with others is a two-way street. And by that I mean it's mutually beneficial to both me and the other person. So not only is there mutual trust there, but there's mutual value being felt on both sides, and me and the other person both feel heard. And this is true in both types of relationships, right? Personal as well as business.
Meaningful connection with others is an exchange of content that is seen by the sender as emotionally significant. And this can range from a blank stare or tear to a verbally articulate statement. Either of these can move a mountain.
To me, meaningful connections with others means being authentic, just being your true self in the relationship.